Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
What's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster, and you are listening to Viewers Anonymous. Man, how you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Excited about this episode, man. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about somebody who, who revolutionized the acting game, man. He done did a multitude of things and, you know what I'm saying, probably made a word super duper famous and probably didn't even mean to. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm geeked about this one, bro. I'm geeked about this one.
Yes, sir, man. Like, I am too, man, because he's to me the hardest working person in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Not only like, and we're talking about a span of like 5 decades, like to be able to
3,
because I think the
3 decades.
Okay, because the first.
No, wait a minute.
Well,
no,
4. No, 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
It's 4 because his first credited thing was in 1973.
Yep.
So, and the person we're talking about is Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
All right, and this dude has, like you said, revolutionized acting forever. And like, one of the reasons I think that this dude is a whole legend living on Earth is the simple fact that something you brought up before we started. And I think it's something that needed to be said was because Sam, first off, he started in theater. So, to start in theater and make your way up and getting his first film in 1973 and all that type stuff. And like things are going well for him. But at the same time, Sam had a little battle with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And, for me, honestly, when you look at, his career, I think that, he was in School Days and, then he was in The Hold Up Man and Coming to America. But it was a small, small part. But it seemed like, School Days, and then you turn around, next thing you know, you're doing Do the Right Thing. So him and Spike Lee got this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it seemed like, because he talked about this before in interviews, and I think that the success that he got from there, and then also turning around and being in another Spike Lee film, in Mo Better Blues, and something I didn't know. I did not know this motherfucker was in The Exorcist 3. I've seen that movie a couple of times and did not know he was in there. But then he turned around, had a small role in Goodfellas, which Goodfellas was a huge film. And what ended up happening was Sam was doing a lot of this stuff on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And where it turned around was, I think that around 89 and 90 is when it got to the point where he couldn't control it, and his wife basically had put him in rehab. And then the film that turned everything around, for me, it seemed like, and from what he talked about, was Jungle Fever.
Yeah.
And he was like, Jungle Fever came about, and they wanted him to play a crackhead. And Sam was like, well, damn, that ain't going to be hard for me to do because I've been a crackhead. Like, he told people, like, I was a crackhead. And to be able to be playing that part with having the temptations of just getting out of rehab, and now you're acting like you're doing what you was literally doing in real life. And for him to take that situation, because his wife told him basically, like, if you don't shake this, I am going to leave you.
Yeah.
And to be able to, because I think that it's one thing to be on drugs and then get out of rehab and never be put in the same situation to get back on drugs again, but to play a crackhead and to actually do the motions of doing the things that crackheads do, and to be able to shake that in 91 and then never do drugs again, to me, on top of being credited for 183 acting credits, to be able to do that, that's what makes him a whole legend to me.
Man, his performance in Jungle Fever was nothing short of amazing. The dope thing about that movie was his girlfriend was Halle Berry. A lot of people forget that. Halle Berry also played a crackhead, so I think he definitely was willing to jump in and play that role once he found out Halle Berry was going to be his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And that was she was hot to trot, man, around that time. So, you know, everybody wanted a piece of Halle Berry in the 90s, man. And to think about that, though, like from 1973 to 1990, right? He had been doing small roles on movies, you know what I'm saying, television, and, you know, so like you said, 180 plus acting credits on various different platforms between the span of 73 to now he hasn't stopped. Like, he's been doing commercials and everything else. So, like, you know, it just goes to show you, man, like, when you really put that work in, you put that effort in, that, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing else that you can do. Like, if anybody was to ever question his work ethic, you would really have to sit down and look at his credits and see, like, he's been doing nothing but work. Like, he's played some iconic roles. And I mean, like, very iconic roles. Like, he's played roles to the point to where I don't think, like, some people even understand what some of them meant when he played them. Like, thinking back just off the top of the dome, like, he played John Shaft. Like, and got the blessing from the original Shaft to play John Shaft. With, you know what I'm saying, like, with John Shaft, with the original John Shaft in the movie. And did a second one at that.
And they said that he fought to keep him in the movie because, like, they was gonna move on from him, and he was like, "Yo, like, I want him to have, you know what I'm saying, a role in this movie."
It's like you can't do that. Like, you can't do that.
Why you said it?
Cause I mean, you know what I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying, like, you can't kick him out of the shaft. You know what I'm saying?
Because that was like a passing of the torch type of thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was really cool. Like, man, you know, when you sit back and you look at, like, a lot of these things, and, like, even, like, in Menace to Society, Small Road, you know what I'm saying? He played, you know what I'm saying, my man's dad. And I don't know why I forgot about that, man. That's the thing I was talking about before we started. And then I got to thinking, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, he was his dad. I was like, but it was a short scene. Like, you know, it was only one scene that he was in. Right. When he had shot my man, when he owed him that money. And that shit was so funny because he was like, that motherfucker said, he said, man, I pay your ass when I feel like it. He was like, man, what, man? He said, you gonna pay me my money or else? He was like, or else. Hell, you think you in John Wayne or some shit? You ain't gonna tell me or else.
On the flashback when he was talking about his dad. Yeah, growing up. Yeah, I remember that.
That shit was funny.
He had on the little scarf and shit tied up on his head.
Yeah, man, that shit was so funny, and I forgot all about that scene. But, like, he's been, like, all over the place, man, like Jurassic Park and shit. But for me, it seems like, just my personal opinion, like, I haven't seen all of the movies he played in. But, like, one movie that's underrated that he played in, I just want to mention it, was Fresh. Like, Fresh is like an underground hood classic, like, that a lot of people don't talk about. And Fresh was a really, really good movie. But the movie that I was about to mention was when he played Pulp Fiction. And it's like, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the first movie he done with Quentin Tarantino. And to me, that like as greater even though there were small roles, he's always the guy that stood out. You know what I'm saying? But Pulp Fiction was different. Like I feel like that was like the turn of the tide, you know, in 1994 when he did that movie, because Pulp Fiction was so different of a movie, and like Quentin Tarantino was coming off of I think he was coming off of Reservoir Dogs, and no, Reservoir Dogs came after Pulp Fiction. So it was one of the two, and like so Quentin Tarantino started to make this turn, and like I felt like Sam made that turn with him, because it seems like that was, to me, like was the start of like him being really viewed as a guy that could carry a film. And even though his next couple of movies, it wasn't really like that stuff. Like he was in Losing Isaiah, which look, Halle Berry again. Like that was a really, really good movie that a lot of people seem to forget. But what I want to talk about, like I felt like Pulp Fiction got him to A Time to Kill. A Time to Kill might be like one of the like no shit, like one of the like best movies that ever come out. Like and I think that sneaky great cast, dude, because you gotta think about it. Charles what's his name? Charles Sutton. He was in that joint. Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, Kiefer, and Donald Sutherland was in that damn joint. Like that movie, like there was so many good people in that movie, and like it just, and the subject matter of the movie, like this man killed the man who basically got away for raping his daughter and hanging her, you know, in an attempt to kill his daughter. And this man goes to a lawyer and like, yo, if he get off, no, he said, if I get in a jam, basically, would you represent me? And he's like, well, yeah, you know, all that type of shit. And then he shoots. Like, how gangster is that? Like, you go to the courthouse, kill a man at the courthouse. You don't run. You go home, hug your kids, hug your wife. You know what I'm saying? And then they come and take you in, and then they do the trial. And see, this was like we was talking about yesterday. This is kind of like an OJ type of thing. Like, we know this motherfucker did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's kind of like, it's so weird. But, I remember in that movie, because Sam was in it. It was Ragtime. That was the movie that OJ wanted to play in, but didn't get the part. That's what we was talking about on that last episode. It was Ragtime. Okay. Yep. But, like, A Time to Kill, man, was really, like, and then the crazy part about A Time to Kill is another great Sam movie, came out in the same fucking year. The Long Kiss Goodnight. One of my favorites.
That was a good one.
That was a real good one, man.
Man, for me, it's, you know what I'm saying, I love when he's the, you know what I'm saying, like when he's the guy that's in it, but, you know what I'm saying, like I look back to movies that he played, like, you know what I'm saying, all of the joints that all of the roles that he played in, you know what I'm saying, all of the Spike Lee joints, of course, because he would be like the pseudo narrator of the movie. You know what I mean? Like he would either be the DJ or he would be the I don't know. He would just be somehow the focal point of the movie. Like if you watch Do the Right Thing, you know what I'm saying? Like he's the DJ, even though he's not telling the story of what's going on in the movie. A lot of times it'll cut to him or it'll have his voice overlaying what's going on, you know what I'm saying, like in the scene, but he'll still be, you know what I'm saying, like you'll still hear him on the radio basically. And it's like just seeing him conduct himself, you know what I'm saying, like in those scenes was just, it was amazing because like he brought life to a lot of the, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of points in the movie. especially with Do the Right Thing. Like for me, I feel like he kind of set the tone for Do the Right Thing. Even with small roles like in Jurassic Park, you know what I'm saying? Like who don't forget, you know what I'm saying? Hold on to your butts. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a classic line in Jurassic Park. You know what I'm saying? Or one of his best roles was when he was playing in The Great White Hype, and he was supposed to be the promoter. He was supposed to be like the Don King-esque promoter when he was hyping up. I think it was, who was it? Was it Damon Wayans? No, it wasn't Damon Wayans, was it? In Great White Hype, or was Damon Wayans? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So he, you know what I'm saying, he hyping up the fight with Damon Wayans and old boy. Like, I mean, it was just like little small stuff. Even in Django, like he stole the movie in Django. Even though he played a character that, you know what I'm saying, he knew that us as black people wasn't gonna like. I mean, like, he got a lot of quotable, you know what I'm saying, moments in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like he come out talking to, you know what I'm saying, John Candy, and then he turned around and who's that nigga on that nag? You know what I'm saying? Like for me, man, he just has like a powerful presence when he's, you know what I'm saying, when he's on the screen. And even like sometimes even being off the screen, like with the Do the Right Thing. But like when he's on the screen, sometimes he don't even have gotta talk. You know what I'm saying? Like if you ever watch Black Snake Moan, where he said something to the girl and then he stood there and looked at her. And he had on like the beater and he had like the gray hair. He looked crazy as shit though, but he was just sitting there staring at her. And like that shit is a meme. So like, you know what I'm saying, you say something to somebody and that little picture come up as a meme. But I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying, he just, whatever he does, bro, he's just so powerful on film is crazy, man. And then, to see his film history is already wild. Like, you know what I'm saying, we just said 180 plus productions. I mean, 180 plus credits. But he's done so much from acting to voiceovers, you know what I'm saying, to commercials, to, I mean, it's so much stuff that he just like, in a way you like, man, what can't this dude do?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then like one quotable you forgot when he played Trip in Juice, and he was like, he said, "Look, man, just because you pour he said, just because you pour syrup on, don't make it pancakes." And then it was so funny because he was like, he said, "Man, why did you do this?" He's like, "Man, she had a snappy nappy dugout." He said, "Snappy dugout?" He's like, "The snappy nappy dugout." And even though he didn't say that first, but he was just talking to that guy, and he was just like, "Man, just because you pour syrup on, don't make it pancakes." I thought that shit was so fucking funny because he was looking at him and like,
wasn't that Orange Juice Jones in that scene?
I'm not sure who the guy was. I just know that he was just looking at him funny as fuck, and that shit was hilarious. And then I like when he said when he was talking to Q when he had asked him about Bishop, he was like, "Man," he said, "Word is you killed Raheem, Ronamez, Quilez, and Steele." And he was like, "Man, you know me since I was a kid." He said, "I know a lot of killers since they was kids." But I like when he said, "Man, you done slid." He said, "You done slid down a razor and fell in the alcohol river." I thought that shit was so cool because I never heard no shit like that before. But like, yeah, like Sam is so versatile, man, and like, and it's with him being in so many films and working with so many people. Like I said, he worked with Quentin Tarantino again with fucking Jackie Brown, and like he's like the main guy. And Jackie Brown, him and Foxy Brown. But she's not no guy, but obviously everybody knows she's not no guy. Not Foxy Brown, what's her name? Shit.
Yeah. Pam Grier.
Is that her name? That ain't her name.
Pam Grier.
Pam Grier. Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam, but dude, he talked about Django on the Breakfast Club. And he was like,
yeah.
When they asked him about it, they said, was he nervous or whatever. He was like, no. He was like, dude, it's art. He said, you play a role. And he was like, and Charlamagne was like, but you didn't think that, the black people would be like that. And then Sam said, he said, come on now. He said, you love when I say, who's that nigga on that nag? But it was hilarious, but. It was so funny. And like he said, like, yo, it's a role. He's like, that's what you do. He was like, the whole point of playing these roles that you have to embody it. You if people hate you for it, then obviously you did something right. He was like that was like really the whole point of doing it. He was like, yeah, I'm playing the Uncle Tom, but it's my job to play the Uncle Tom so good that it does piss you off. He's like, that's really the whole point of even doing it.
Yeah.
Like, that was also the same interview when they asked him about, like, the award, not winning any awards and not really being nominated like that and stuff. And he was like, dude, I do stuff. He was like, I read the script, and if I think it'd be a fun project to do, then I do it. He was like, I do this to have fun. He was like, I don't do this. He was like, basically, he said, I don't take acting that serious. And I think that that's a great way to look at it, because a lot of the times when you looking to be awarded, that's kind of like when Charlemagne says, you know, go where you celebrate it, not where you tolerate it. And it's like when you live, when you live your whole life on, oh man, they didn't nominate me for a Grammy, or they didn't nominate me for an Oscar, or they didn't nominate me for this. It's like you go chasing awards, and it's like when you go chasing stuff and you never catch it, you never fulfill. And I think that Sam is so unique that, like, he's fulfilled by just doing what he loves to do. Like, he's like, I'm not looking to be awarded for what I do, because for number one, you get rewarded by getting paid. Like, that's like the main thing. Is like, I get paid to do what I love to do. So I think Sam has like the perfect mindset of being a person in his position and doing the things that he's doing. And I think that that's very smart to have that type of mindset.
Yeah, and it's funny that you speak of Django and then you speak of him talking about, you know, saying getting paid, because they had this, like, it's not Comic-Con, but you know how they do like press releases and everything else for movies. And they had him, Kerry Washington, Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, Quentin Tarantino, and Christoph Waltz. And they were all at the table, you know what I'm saying, during this press release in Australia. And they were talking about one of the stories behind the scenes of, well, they were talking about stories of behind the scenes of shooting the movie, but two of them that stuck out was that Samuel L. Jackson would stay in, like, when he was, excuse me, when he was in this trailer, he would stay in character. So, like, it would be times where, like, they would be trying to talk to him and he would be in character, like, during the beginning of the movie, like, as they were shooting it, he was getting in character so he could constantly get a feel for it. And then the second story that really stuck out to me was the scene where at the end they all have, I guess, like, they're all in the library room or the social room or whatever. And Christoph Waltz is talking to John Candy or whatever, and he's like, he's saying something, and then, you know, Leonardo got to he got to stand up and then say something about, like, something about a nigga and da. So Leonardo DiCaprio was having an issue with saying nigga throughout the whole, you know, like, throughout the whole shooting. He said he didn't want to do it because he didn't feel comfortable saying the N-word or whatever. And if anybody knows anything about Leonardo DiCaprio, like, he's really into, like, hip hop culture and everything like that. Like, he got a real fond respect for, you know what I'm saying, hip hop culture. And so, like, when he was saying it, it was genuine. He wasn't just saying it because he on the set with, you know, Sam and Jamie and Kerry. He's saying it like, yo, I really don't feel comfortable saying this. And so, you know, right before they were about to shoot, Samuel L. Jackson comes to him and he's like, what's the issue, man? He was like, Sam, you know, I don't feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, saying the N-word, man, and I don't know if I can, you know, go through with this because I don't, it ain't, you know, don't sit right with me, whatever. So Sam told him, he said, man, let me tell you something. He said, when these people make these movies, they picked you out, right? He said, yeah. He said, you didn't have to audition, right? He said, yeah. He said, so that means that they wanted you. He said, they wanted you for a reason. He said, they wanted you because you're the best at what you do. He said, now, when they gave you this role and when you didn't have to audition, they paid you, right? He said, yeah. He said, okay then, motherfucker, let's go shoot this movie. And he said from that point on, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't have no problems. He said anytime, you know what I'm saying, like it was time to shoot, he said he just went right into it. And it's just, you know what I'm saying, like for me, hearing those kind of stories and just knowing like, you know, for Sam to be, you know what I'm saying, for Sam to be that guy, man, and for him to pull somebody to the side, especially somebody with the acting experience that Leo has. Like Leo has been in blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster. You know what I'm saying? And for him to pull him aside and give him advice, like this is not, a veteran actor giving a rookie actor advice. This is two vets talking. This is two greats talking. And he's like, yo, man, get your ass over here. Let's do this movie, man. You ain't got nothing to worry about. He was like, that's what these people paid you for. Now go earn your money and let's go. And I think that that's just amazing, the fact that he could talk to somebody who could be on his level or even higher and still talk to them as if, you know, he's talking to somebody that's on a level that's lower. And he, you know, it is no ego or nothing. He's just like, come on, man, let's make this movie. You know, it shouldn't be a problem. This is what you hear. You acting. This ain't the real you. And I think that was just, you know, saying something great to throw in there because, you know, you really don't get to hear stories like that about, you know, saying iconic actors. You usually hear about them, you know, saying being snobby or being rude or being mean, but you never hear nothing like that about Samuel L. Jackson. Like, I think it was about a couple months ago where they were shooting something, and I think, matter of fact, they were shooting The Bodyguard's, what was it? The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. The one with Ryan Reynolds and Salma Hayek and Sam Jackson, and they in the middle of shooting the movie, right? They in the car doing like a little car scene or whatever, and then dude pulls up. He got his phone out, and he's like, he loud as shit. He like, oh shit, that's Samuel L. Jackson, and all you see is Sam just turn over and go, hey, what's up, man? He said, what's going on, Sam? He like, how y'all doing today, man? He like, man, we doing good, man. It's good to see you. He was like, cool, man. He said, hey, when we get done, come back around, man. I take some pictures with y'all, sign autographs. But y'all got to leave. We shooting the movie, motherfucker. And then I'm just like, yo, that's dope as fuck. Just like, you know what I'm saying, to see him just be that cool of a guy, man. It's just, to me, bro, it's just like, you usually don't get that, man. That's dope.
Yeah, like, dude, he is really like he's one of the coolest dudes alive, man. And like, especially like, I'm gonna keep this short, like, because I'd be speaking too much, but like doing stuff like The Negotiator. The Negotiator is just, yeah. And then, you know, Deep Blue Sea, he was in Deep Blue Sea, man. Deep Blue Sea, he had a short role in it, but for some odd reason, people don't like that movie. Like, as far as shark movies, like, I never really got into Jaws like that.
It was LL Cool J, man.
Yeah. LL was good, like, and my man that played the first Punisher. That was really the only Punisher movie that was good, when my man that was in Deep Blue Sea played him. Now, the TV series that was good on Netflix, but the second movie, Punisher, was trash. But that guy that played it with Sam, and when Sam got killed, snatched up by that motherfucker, giving that speech, man, it's like, I was sitting here thinking back, like,
that was so unexpected.
Yeah, I think that I think Sam got the freedom to, because I think that his motherfucker got so damn famous that I think that they just like, all right, you know, you can ad lib. I think Sam can ad lib. I think when it comes to people that are not comedians, I think Sam and like Denzel and like Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff, I think that they have like that freedom in the script to like kind of ad lib. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they be writing motherfucker and all this shit like Sam be saying.
Nah,
but
that's all Sam.
It's got to be all Sam. It's got to be all him. And like just the way that he does that shit, like, dude, it comes off so crazy. And then I like how Sam did the whole full circle when it came to Unbreakable, because he played Elijah Price in 2000, and then he plays motherfucking Mr. Glass. And that was 2019. or 2018. So he plays Mr. Glass, and like I didn't even know that movie had anything to do with Split. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Split was even.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be based on all three of them.
And like when Mr. Glass came out, like for me that was okay. About damn time M. Night Shyamalan came out with something good again, because he needed something, because he was on a downslide. If you ask me, like
he ruined Avatar.
Like dude, like he it's like he hit with the Sixth Sense, and then it was like really like like the Sixth Sense hit so hard, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I like how Sam was able to do that full circle with Elijah Price, because the thing is, I remember doing my I did my top villains of all time on the 28 Minutes or Less podcast. Mr. Glass was number 5, because this motherfucker was so smart to where even though he's sitting in a wheelchair, he can decipher all the moves that you're gonna make. And like to be in a wheelchair, you have no special, like his special ability was his brain. Like he was able to, okay, if I do this, you're gonna do this, and then the next thing you're gonna do is this, and you're gonna do this. And like for him to decipher all of that type shit, like people underestimate like how much of a great villain he actually was. Like he killed a ton of people on a fucking subway train to find one motherfucking guy. Like people forget that. And so I think that with Sam being in that comic book world, I wonder did Unbreakable is the thing that kind of got him into that Nick Fury stuff.
Probably.
Because
that's a good thing.
Because I didn't think of that till just now, and it's like for him playing Nick Fury now, even though all the time like Nick Fury is never like he wasn't really like a big part until Spider-Man Far From Home, because that was really the only one where he was like really in it.
Nah, I mean, as far as him having screen time,
that's what I mean.
But like, he's been in all the movies since
Iron Man, the first Iron Man.
I think even the first Hulk. I mean, I think even the Hulk that they redid. I want to say he had something. He was in something like that. I don't know if he was actually in it or they mentioned it, but he's really been in this shit since the beginning.
Yeah, I think they might have mentioned him. Yeah, but I think that the first, because I'm looking at it here, because Iron Man was the one who started it, as far as like the whole for them to get all of these characters and shape it into the Avengers.
It was on the Hulk. It was on the Hulk.
But the first Hulk didn't have anything to do with this one.
No, not the first Hulk. I ain't talking about that shit was trash. I'm talking about the second one.
You talking about the one with Edward
Ed Norton? Yeah,
Ed Norton.
That's when all this started. That's when all the Marvel Universe shit started.
Okay, and but yeah, like even when he played in Jumper is an underrated movie, yo. Like. Yes, I love Jumper so much, dude. I wanted to be I was like, dude, if I could have any fucking thing, like I want to be the dude that could just fucking jump. Like that shit would be fucking fun as fuck. Just to look at a fucking picture and just jump into some shit. And that was an underrated movie. And that was another movie that really kicked off Hayden Christensen. Like I never seen him before then. And then next thing you know, he's in fucking Takers and shit. And it's like, wow. And another movie that we haven't even mentioned, dude. Now he wasn't the main guy, but like 1408 was
good movie.
good movie, man.
Good movie.
John Cusack killed that
Great.
shit.
It was a great psychological thriller.
Oh yeah, like that shit have you like. It was like it reminded me of because John Cusack was like, I mean, he was the guy in that movie.
Yeah.
But you know, Sam being not the owner, but well, maybe he was the owner, but he was like the manager of like the hotel or whatever. And he was like trying to tell him about like not going into that room and all of that type of shit. Like that was a really, really great underrated movie. And like even when he played like the crazy ass racist neighbor when he played in Lakeview Terrace. Like,
oh man, that was he did his fucking thing in that movie, bro.
Yeah, that shit was wild, man.
Him as like the antagonist in movies is super underrated. Like a lot of people don't realize, like he plays great bad guys. He plays real great bad guys. Like another underrated movie that we didn't mention. I'm not sure if a lot of people actually even took time to watch it. I don't even remember being in the theaters, but Sphere. If you ever watched Sphere was a great movie. It was a weird adaptation of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but like in the horror, well, not necessarily horror, but like suspense thriller genre. But it was real good. Like it was about, you know what I'm saying, like this. They had this some weird element or something that they ended up finding, being underwater or whatever, and it was like giving them like illusions and controlling their mind and shit like that. And it was weird because when it got to Sam, he was reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, so certain parts of that book, like all the horrible parts of that book would actually happen because it, you know what I'm saying, like that's what was in his brain. But I mean, like it was just for me, it was one of those movies that it was real good. Like I watched it when I was younger or whatever, and it intrigued the shit out of me. And another movie that we didn't talk about, which for me was super dope, was Star Wars. He played Mace Windu in Star Wars. When they brought out the new episodes of Star Wars. Well, supposedly the first 3 episodes of Star Wars. When they brought those out, he was huge in Star Wars. And you know what I'm saying? Like he was in Star Wars to where nobody had an issue with it. Like, remember when what's the one guy's name that's in the new Star Wars movies?
Oh, I know you're talking about black dude.
Yeah, John Boyega.
Yeah, I can't say his name.
Or whatever. So when he was in the Star Wars movies, right, they thought that he was going to be the new Jedi. And they had they raised hell about it. When the Star Wars 1 through 3 came out, everybody knew Samuel L. Jackson was going to be in it because I think he was in one of the trailers. And nobody complained about it. Everybody knew he was a Jedi. Nobody complained about it. And not only that, if you know anything about Star Wars, for any of my, you know what I'm saying, Star Wars nerds that's on here listening, he was the only one with the purple lightsaber. And the lightsabers kind of determine what level of Jedi you are. So when you have like green, you're like a master Jedi or whatever. When you have like blue, you know what I'm saying, like you're like a, I don't want to say up and coming Jedi, but it's like a I guess I'd say that you're up and coming Jedi. When you have white, it's a certain thing. When you have red, you know, that's usually for the Sith. It's like it's like the Green Lantern. You know, all the Green Lanterns got different rings for different emotions, but for the lightsabers, they all have different levels of Jedi or Sith or whatever. And purple is when you've mastered both sides of the Force. So if you know what I'm saying, when you basically found the total balance of the Force, you get you have the purple crystal or the purple lightsaber. And he was the only one in the movies with the purple lightsaber. And I thought that was super dope. for Sam to have that, to have that role and then to be able to, show that on screen. And then you never heard anybody, complain about it, anybody bitch about it. There wasn't no petitions about Samuel Jackson, none of that. It was just like everybody liked Mace Windu.
Yeah, like Sam had that ability, man. Like I remember there was one movie, I don't think it never hit the theaters, but it was him and Julianne Moore, and it was called Freedom Land. And that shit was good, dude. Like, you look like you never seen it before. It's basically, he plays this cop, right? And Julianne Moore is a woman who, she said that her kid was missing, right? And so she said that he went missing. She said that she got robbed. She said that because her hands were bloody. She said that somebody broke into her car, stole her car with her kid in the car, right? So she blamed it on the black man, basically, because like Freedom Land is like, it was like these projects. And so they got this whole project like on lockdown looking for this one white kid. And so Sam is also dealing with his son being in jail, and he's also working for the law. So, it shows him going back, to meet with his son, because, not meet, but visitation with the son and stuff. And he's trying to solve this case, trying to figure out. So Sam, maybe he brings in these people who dealing with missing kid cases and shit like that. And Sam knew it was something funny about her story. He was like, stuff never added up. It never added up right. And if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Mackie's in it too. And Anthony Mackie was a dude that she would like fuck with on the side. Like not on the side because her son dad wasn't in the picture. And so she used to like fuck Anthony Mackie or whatever. Yeah. And what ended up happening was a riot ended up happening because the black people were so fed up with, the quote unquote white woman blaming a black person for stealing her child type thing. Yeah. So there ended up being this huge riot or whatever. And then come to find out what happened was Julianne Moore, like when it got to the end of the movie, she ended up telling Sam what ended up happening, that she basically gave her son some like Dermatap or whatever to put him to sleep before so Anthony Mackie could come over and smash or whatever. And what ended up happening, like the boy, she was trying to tell the boy to go to bed. And he was like, he told his mom, like, yo, if you do this, you're going to be sorry. And what ended up happening was the boy took the medicine that she would give him to put him to sleep. He drank the whole bottle and he died. And what she did is when Anthony Mackie got over there, he helped her dispose the body. So he ended up going to jail, and she was like, dude, it was a really fucking good movie, and nobody talks about it because I don't think it hit theaters. I think it was just like a DVD release, but it was a really fucking good movie, man. People need to check that out. Freedom Land. It was really, really good. But like Sam has the ability to like take movies like that and fucking flip them shits into something where, like, I mean, now don't get me wrong, Julianne Moore is great too. But the thing about Freedom Land came out in 2006. I don't think Anthony Mackie is Anthony Mackie yet.
Julianne Moore is damn sure Julianne Moore.
Oh yeah, like she like the weird thing with her, she's like one of those people like nobody would never consider her, like even in Boogie Nights, nobody consider her sexy. Nobody consider her, gorgeous. But her acting is so good that shit jump off the page. Like and I think Sam is the same way. Like Sam never been seen as like a sex symbol type of thing, but like his performances are so great that he's a dude. And then like his voice is like second to none. Like he has completely taken over the fucking Capital One commercials. Like
100%. Now hold on real quick. I don't know, man. I've seen a couple movies where Julianne Moore, man, she was all right. You know what I'm saying? She, the little hot redhead, man. She was all right.
Okay, I'll give her one. When she played in oh man, my bad, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Oh man, what was the name of that movie? I gotta find it. She played like this. She was like this older lady that she was going, like he would go to these meetings because he had like this. He had an addiction where he would like he jerked off a lot, and at the same time he jerks off a lot, but he's dating in the movie Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yeah.
So he's dating her in the movie. John Dunn, that's what it's called. Or Dunn John. It's one of them. It's Dunn John or John Dunn.
I know what you're talking about.
And hey, she was looking alright in that. She was looking alright in that. But yeah, like in Boogie Nights, man, it was, she wasn't, but yeah, man, that's one of those movies, man, that's really underrated. And then like, first off, before I even say this, rest in peace to Bernie Mac. It was Bernie Mac's last film.
Yeah.
But his job that he did in Soul, man, like this dude is literally like even when he was in Black Snake Moan, like this dude can really sing. Like Sam ain't no slouch. Like he can really put down some shit. And like in Soul, man, like him and Bernie Mac's chemistry, like it felt like they've been working together for years. And like to be able to pull a film like that off, and it was so funny when Bernie Mac would like when they would like argue with each other and like all that type shit, and then John Legend had his little small appearance in it, and it was so funny when they was in the coffin together, when all three of them was in the coffin, and he was talking about how he would always pick on him. This motherfucker started choking him while he was already dead in the dead coffin. That shit was so fucking hilarious. I was like, yo, these dudes are some clowns, man. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But man, this dude, man, the work he's done is just, it's hard to put it in words. And then like he started this whole thing with being Nick Fury, and it's like, he's not even really in like the movies like that. That's why it's gonna be so hard to do. Well, it's one other movie I want to mention to you because I feel like you probably haven't seen it because it's another one of those like non-releases. Have you ever seen the Samaritan?
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Dude, that shit, dude. You talking about a twist for your ass? Like he ended up meeting this girl, and so he's talking to this girl, and like they ended up because what it was. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Was it the Samaritan or was it something else? Hold on. Well, anyway, he played. No, Old Boy. I'm sorry. It's Old Boy. Old Boy had my man play Thanos. What's my man's name?
Josh
He played
Brolin.
Thanos. Yes, Josh Brolin. Like him and Josh Brolin had like this beef, right? Like something had happened in the past. And so Josh Brolin's whole plan was to get him back. And this is how he got him back. So Sam he meets the like Josh Brolin put it like in a situation where like he was like in this room, and then him and this girl eventually get to this point where they have like this sexual chemistry. And so he ended up having sex with the girl or whatever, right? And then when it got to the end of the film, this motherfucker finds out that girl was his daughter. So this motherfucker had sex with his daughter, and Josh Brolin was the one who set it up, and that was his payback for some shit that he did to him early on in his life. And dude, I've never seen this shit coming. It was out of nowhere. It's called Old Boy. That shit was wild, man. And then I tell you another movie that's underrated that a lot of people don't never talk about, Changing Lanes. When he was in Changing Lanes with Ben Affleck, that shit, like, basically they was like cat fighting throughout the whole film. Like they were just getting back at each other. Like it all started from changing lanes. Like I forget who car hit who first, and so it fucked up their day. So then his whole thing was, all right, well, I'm gonna fuck up this, and then he fucks up this, and then he turns around and he fucks up this. It's like all they doing is like fucking each other over like throughout the whole film, and that shit ended up being hilarious.
Yeah.
But man, I was sitting there and I was thinking, like, when we get to the top 5, like my approach to this is it's not gonna be like the movie. Like, put it this way, I won't use Juice because he's not the main guy in Juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't really use like stuff like Goodfellas. I can't use Goodfellas because he was barely in Goodfellas. You know, he was barely in Coming to America. He had one scene, so it's going to be hard. But I think I was able to put one together though.
Yeah, man, but he's so versatile, man. You know what I'm saying? We talking about all of the movies that he's done, but you know what I'm saying? We don't even bring up. Well, you brought up one. You brought up the Capital One. You know what I'm saying? Commercials. We didn't bring up that he was in. He did voiceovers for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. He did voiceovers for a couple video games outside of that. He was Frozone in the fucking Incredibles. You know what I'm saying? Like that was probably one of his most iconic roles as well. Like all kind of kids, you know what I'm saying, when they hear his voice. My kids for a little bit when they was hearing his voice was like, that's Frozone. So you know what I'm saying? Like he's done a wide range of movies, from comedies to drama to action to damn near everything, man. Like my thing was and what made me really, really like see how good Sam Jackson was in Shaft. And that movie for me, just, you know what I'm saying, having seen like all of the older Shaft movies and, you know what I'm saying, knowing about blaxploitation and everything else, you know what I'm saying, in the history behind it and all that kind of stuff, to see him do Shaft, to me was super dope because he was paying homage to, you know what I'm saying, our culture through, you know what I'm saying, a movie. And we don't get, especially, you know what I'm saying, nowadays, we don't get a lot of that. So for him to be able to play Shaft and still have, you know what I'm saying, Richard Roundtree in the movie, still have Richard Roundtree's blessing to even play the role to begin with, was amazing to me because you don't realize, or not realize, but you don't get to see that passing of the torch from, you know what I'm saying, the older generation to the newer generation a lot. Like, we didn't really get to see, you know what I'm saying, the passing of the torch from, you know, like Eddie Murphy to, you know, like Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart or any of those guys and stand up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of seen it in movies because, you know, like Eddie Murphy had Dave Chappelle in the movie, you know what I'm saying, in The Nutty Professor. You know what I'm saying? But, like, we don't usually get to see, you know what I'm saying, like those icons passing it down to the next generation. Like, I think it would have been super dope to see, like, a Harry Belafonte or a Sidney Poitier hand it down and do a movie with, like, a Jamie Foxx or a Denzel Washington or something like that, and be able to pass the torch to them in that movie. And I feel like when you watch Shaft, that's what Richard Roundtree is doing with Samuel L. Jackson. He's kind of giving them that blessing and kind of, you know what I'm saying, letting them, you know what I'm saying, letting the world know, like, yo, you know what I'm saying, this is the dude now. Like, this is the dude that's going to be, you know what I'm saying, putting everything on his back and making sure that, you know what I'm saying, we out here being represented well. And every movie that every movie that Samuel L. Jackson has done, I mean, it's like he's been the best representation of us in every fucking role. Like, he's a master at what he does, man. Like, super professional. You can tell he's super professional. And it's like when he gets on screen, bro, he kills it in every role. For me, like outside of Shaft, like I said, for the Star Wars movies, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So to see him in Star Wars was super fire. Even though, you know what I'm saying, like he doesn't have a lot of screen time on it, he still has like major scenes in, you know what I'm saying, in those 3 movies. And then for him to do 3 Star Wars movies, you know what I'm saying, like he's a part of the Star Wars universe forever now. And that's not an easy thing to get into. Huh?
I said in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was about to get into next. But like I was saying, like with the Star Wars universe, that's not an easy thing to get into. Like, trust me, it's a big thing to be a part of Star Wars. I don't care what it is that you're doing. Like Childish Gambino is a part of Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams was in Star Wars. So I mean, it just go to show you just like how many people. James Earl Jones did the voice of Darth Vader. Like it just go to show you just how small and tight that list is. So for him to be a part of that was amazing. And then, like you said, to turn around and go from doing a pseudo comic book movie and Unbreakable and Glass and Split, and then they got another one out, don't they? It's 4 movies total, right?
No, it's just 3 right now.
It's just 3? Okay.
Yeah.
But to have him play that character and then to go on to be Nick Fury, like once again, this just goes to a testament of how great Samuel L. Jackson is. He plays Nick Fury. Nick Fury is a white guy.
I might know that.
Nobody says anything about Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury. They had a problem with Idris Elba playing James Bond, but they don't have an issue with Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury. This is how great this dude is. Like, nobody's going to complain about Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, for him to take a role that's really not even meant for him and make this role even more iconic than what it already is, like you said, he barely got screen time on any of the movies except for, like you said, what, Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Is where he had the most screen time.
Yeah.
But any video game of the Avengers, any video game with Marvel in it, and Nick Fury now looks like Samuel L. Jackson in all of the video games, all of the cartoons, all of that. Like he is now. He is Nick Fury. Nick Fury is him. It's like how it's like with the whole Wolverine thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Hugh Jackman. Anything Hugh Jackman played in, it didn't even look right because we were so used to seeing him as Wolverine. And so now it's like, in a weird way, anything that Samuel L. Jackson is going to play in, if you know what I'm saying, like if he got an eye patch on, he going to look like Nick Fury.
Yep.
And it's just like you're a part of 2 great franchises. You're a part of the Star Wars universe. You're a part of the Marvel universe. Like, how amazing can your career get to the fact that you get to be a part of 2 of the biggest, and Marvel is getting up there, but Star Wars has been there. Star Wars has been there since Sam been acting. So the fact that you get to be a part of 2 of the biggest movie franchises in history, and it's like a role that can be reprised and be redone, all that, and you are the guy that they got to go to be able to do it. That's just dope, man.
And then you got to realize he did another full circle with Django by playing in the Hateful Eight. He was a black bounty hunter in the Western days in the Hateful Eight.
Yep.
So it's like, and then like that's another one of those Quentin Tarantino things. So it's like, you know, like I mentioned earlier, when it came to Pulp Fiction. So he does Pulp Fiction, he does Jackie Brown, he does Django, he does, you know, the Hateful Eight. That's like all based off one relationship with one guy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but Quentin Tarantino does that. But like we've spoken on before, all of these guys really have a tendency of doing things like that. Because look, we talked about Christopher Nolan.
Same thing with him and Spike Lee.
Done it. Yeah, and it was early with Spike. Like he done a lot of movies early with Spike. So it's like Sam is just he's one of those guys who, for some odd reason, we always seem to leave his name out for some odd reason. Like we'll say Denzel, Al Pacino, and Robert De Niro, and Harrison Ford, and people. I tell you another guy that people leave out, Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones. You look at his filmography, like Tommy Lee Jones has been like fucking killing it, dude. But like when it goes to that legend list, it's like he get left out, and another person that probably got the numbers like him that we haven't mentioned before is Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is another guy. He has a lot of those little small roles, like Sam, like later in his career. He's another guy that people use when it comes to voice. Because like Sam voice is.
I think that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I think that when you say that we don't look at them as legends, it's because like, especially with Sam, bro, it's like when you look at De Niro, you look at Pesci, you look at Pacino, they look older. You could tell they're getting older. Sam don't look older. He don't look like he's slowing down. So to me, it's like, yeah, we can put him up there. Like even Denzel, in a sense, like Denzel seems older, but with Sam is just like he's not stopping. He's constantly going. So I mean, like it's easy to call him a legend for sure. It's easy to call him even an icon at that. But I mean, he's not done.
This is true.
He hasn't slowed down.
No, not at all. Like, dude,
you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's just weird, bro. It's like you wanna give him that title, of course, but it's like we still don't even know what he can do yet. At this point, to me, it's like he still got so much more to do. So it's like, who knows, man? Like, I mean, I'm sure he'll eventually get that role. I'm sure that he'll get that title. I mean, to me, he already has that title without it. It doesn't need to even really be acknowledged. Like, to me, I feel like he's like in that lane of, because I feel like he's past like Denzel and Pacino and De Niro and all them. I think he's more so up there like with, the Meryl Streeps and like the people who still are, who are like as big as possible, but they're still creating, they're still making movies, they're still getting roles. Like it's just they're not stopping.
Yeah, and I think Morgan Freeman is another guy. I think that because of the COVID shit, I think it seemed like it slowed down. But like, he's been in a lot of shit, and he's been reoccurring as like being oh man, what's his fucking name? Fox. Lucius Fox. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he just narrated Big Sean's album or something like that.
No, Savage. 21 Savage.
21 Savage.
That album, that album is hard, yo. Like that whole album with Metro Boomin. I don't know if you heard it, but that shit is fire, boy. And he made it even more fire.
I heard bits and pieces of it, but I'm just saying, like, I heard Morgan Freeman on it, and I'm like, who the fuck would have thought of that? Like the fact that Morgan Freeman is that dope to be like, yo, I need Morgan Freeman on my album.
No, dude, it was so crazy. It's man, how God works. So I'm waiting on some podcasts to come up. I'm waiting on Ebro in the morning, so I need some shit to listen to. So I'll listen to T.I.'s podcast, and he had 21 Savage on. So they talked about it, and he said, dude, that was the easiest thing to do. He said, all we did was reach out to his assistant, and they said he sent that shit back immediately. They said everything that they put down. So I thought that shit was hard. But to get to Sam, man, like, I was sitting here putting together. You got your file together?
Kind of. I got. Hold on, wait. I got 3. I think I come up with 2 more though.
All right. Well, I go first since I got mine, and I was doing it while we was going, and I was sitting there thinking, and it's like I said before, like the stuff that I'm picking is stuff that he is like the main guy. Not using things like I said earlier, like I wouldn't use Jurassic Park. I mean, I thought Jurassic Park was cool, but you know what I'm saying. But like,
he had a small role.
Like for me, starting from 5 up, man, it was really hard to do, man. Once I got to looking at it, I was like, fuck, man, Black Snake Moan, I can't use it. Like man, Soul Man, like Jumper, like I love that type of shit. But for my 5th one, man, I'm gonna go Glass. I felt like Glass was. It seemed like it kind of went under the radar. I don't know why. I guess because Captain Marvel came out the same year and Endgame came out in the same year. So, like, it kind of got slept on. But as far as, like I said, like, dude, that made me put him on my villain list, was how great he was in Glass. My number 4, man, I'm going to go The Long Kiss Goodnight, man. I thought that was my mom loved that film. That's one of my favorite Sam films. Because it's crazy because that was like one of the things other than the fucking stories. Like that was like one of the things me and my mom bonded on was just sitting around and watching A Long Kiss Goodnight. I've seen that movie so many times, and like him in that role, it was great. My number 3, man, this is another personal one. For 2 reasons. For number 1, I felt like it was a true story, and the message in this movie, like a lot of people, like my son, like the one thing about this movie, my son loves this movie. He used to watch this movie literally every day. I had the DVD. He used to watch it every day, and that's Coach Carter. And Coach Carter, what people don't seem to understand was this dude asked a simple, like, dude, the small things that he asked for: sit in front of the classroom, wear a tie on game days, and have a 2.5 GPA. And like these motherfuckers couldn't even do that. So he shut the season down. And it's like, yo, we need to show these kids like that, like, and like my son, like he loves the movie and he loves basketball, but he's about to be 11, so he don't get the message of the movies. Like, yo, you're not gonna play basketball if you can't do these 3 things I asked you to do on this contract. So I felt like Coach Carter is like one of those things where me and my son, we sit down, we watch it together, and all that type of stuff. And Sam did a great job. My number 2 is A Time to Kill. Like that movie, like we talked about it extensively, so I'm not going to go back over it again. And I'm going to be short on this one because it's going to speak volumes later. But my number 1 Samuel L. Jackson movie is The Negotiator.
Okay. That's a good list. Good list. Real good list. So for me, my number 5 is Eve's Bayou. Classic movie. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the first times we see Journey Smollett. I'm in love with her. You know what I'm saying? She's super fine now. Grew up to be something amazing. But good movie. Good. Yep. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? All the fine women was in this movie, apparently.
Hold up, there was girls at the time, though.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, I was a kid too. Shit. Shit. I was only 9. But Jennifer Lewis was in this one too. You know what I'm saying? We talked a little bit about Jennifer Lewis earlier. And well, we talked about her off air. We ain't talking about it on the podcast. So if anybody like, what the hell are you talking about? We talked about it off air, people. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Classic movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Psychological. Well, not even psychological. It's just one of them kind of thriller suspense movies. Real good. My number 4 is Sphere. like I said, it was a great movie. I don't know if a lot of people seen it, but it was like I said, a weird adaptation of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And you know what I'm saying, for me, that's something that I really, you know what I'm saying, had linked up with and liked it. Number 3 would be The Man. That was a very funny movie. It was like Eugene Levy is hilarious by itself, but with Sam Jackson, bro, it was weird because he was like this like renegade cop dude, but he had like twisties or something in his. It was wild just to see Samuel Jackson with hair off rip, but he was, you know what I'm saying, he played a good role in it. It was funny. That made me laugh. I remember seeing it a long time ago. Real good movie. I watch it every now and then, every time I get a chance to. For number 2, it'll be Lakeview Terrace. For him to be, you know what I'm saying, that guy that, you know what I'm saying, plays the antagonist in the movie. It was a great movie. It was kind of weird because, like, you don't really get to see Samuel. Like, he was buff in that movie. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was like a different Samuel Jackson, man. He had put on, like, some muscle or whatever. It was crazy to see him. And, like, he just, you know what I'm saying, like, he looked, you know what I'm saying, intimidating in that movie. And then for my number 1, man, is Shaft. You know what I'm saying? That's my favorite Samuel Jackson movie of all time. That's my first time seeing what's dude's name? The dude that played Peoples. He was in The Hunger Games. Hold on. I can't believe I'm blanking on this dude's
I remember
name
the
right
Hunger
now.
Games, but I don't really remember. All I remember is Jennifer Lawrence, man. That's all I remember about the Hunger Games.
Oh no, bro. He was I forgot what his name is. Hold on, I'm about to find it real quick.
Damn, man, I'm sitting here looking
Jeffrey
at some
Wright.
shit. I didn't. Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey
Oh,
Wright.
yeah. I know you're talking about.
He played Peoples, and this was probably one of Jeffrey Wright's like best roles. Like when I say he played Peoples, like he played that motherfucker to a T. I've never seen Jeffrey Wright before, and like my whole time watching that movie, like I really believed that's who dude was. Like I thought he had that accent and everything, and then I seen him on Hunger Games, and he was a totally different person. And that, you know what I'm saying, it was just a testament of, you know what I'm saying, how great that movie was. And I'm blanking on his goddamn name too. Batman was in it. Christian Bale.
Batman. Christian Bale. Oh, okay.
Christian Bale was in there too. So it had him, Richard Roundtree, Christian Bale, Jeffrey Wright. Like it was a good. I think Busta Rhymes was in it. Like it was just a good movie all together, man. They did their thing with that one, bro. That's my all-time favorite Samuel Jackson movie.
That's what's up. And that's the great thing about by doing this with you is because it's like, you know, and look, East Bayou was one of those movies that, I mean, we didn't really mention it.
The fuck out of me as a kid.
But that movie was a really, really great movie. And like your list is good. I respect it. Like Lakeview Terrace, we spoke about that a little bit early on in the podcast. But like he has so much great shit, man. Mm-hmm. That
see, I gotta go watch a couple of your lists too, because I gotta see what the hype is about, man. You got me over here curious about what's going on in some of these movies, man.
Hold on, which one you haven't seen?
The one you said earlier was
You talking about the 5 or just the movie?
No, I'm talking about just period.
Oh, that Freedom Land?
Yeah, Freedom Land. I gotta watch that, and I gotta watch Old Boy. And then
Old Boy, yeah.
That's another one that you said.
Yeah,
but
those two.
I gotta catch some.
And man, we ain't even mentioned like SWAT that he did with LL Cool J and fucking Colin Farrell and my girl Michelle Rodriguez. Like we ain't even mentioned that.
One old girl. What's the one girl from? Is it Jessica Biel?
What you mean
Wasn't
for SWAT?
Jessica Biel in Blade, the one with the
Yeah, she was
with
in
Ryan
Blade.
Reynolds?
Yeah,
Was she in SWAT too?
I don't remember her in SWAT. The only person I remember is
Wasn't it a white
really
girl in
Michelle
SWAT?
Rodriguez. It was the girl
Oh,
from
okay.
Fast and Furious.
No, I know who Michelle
You know?
Rodriguez is. I'm saying
Okay.
I'm thinking if Jessica Biel was in there too. For some I'm trying to think she was in a movie like that.
She might have been. I
can't think of what it is though.
But yeah, man, this dude.
But
man,
nah,
this dude,
you right though. We missing a lot of movies, bro.
it's so many of them. Like it's too hard to get into all of them without talking about Sam. You know, as a guy, and like to be able to overcome these drugs and be, you know, sober all these years, and to be able to put together a career he has put together, man. Second to none, man. Like I said earlier, fuck the awards. He don't need no awards. Like he's a whole legend out here. He don't need no validation from the Academy. He don't need no validation from any of that type stuff. He's a whole legend out here. Sam has entered that spot where he's respected by hood dudes and he's respected by, you know, white people. Like Sam can go in any room and blend in.
Yeah,
and everybody.
and it won't even be an issue.
Yeah,
no issue.
like so.
Just a few movies we didn't mention. We didn't mention Triple X with Vin Diesel. We didn't mention The Spirit. He was the narrator in Inglourious Basterds. He was in The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. He had another movie called Arena that was like a weird, like post-apocalyptic movie, but it was a good one though. It was pretty decent. He was a voice of one of the Snells in Turbo. For anybody with kids out there, he was in the new remake of RoboCop. And I'm trying to think, what's another one? Oh, he was in The Kingsman.
Yeah, I like The Kingsman. The Kingsman was good.
He was the bad guy in The Kingsman. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's done some amazing things, man.
Man, you got that right, man. He is just second to none, man. Second to none. But man, this next one though, man, like, dude, I have been wanting to do this forever, but it's so hard. And look, I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say it right now, and I'm gonna say it on the next one because I gotta stress to people the way my brain works. It is, I don't know, dude. It's weird because we talked about it before, and it's like I do this dumb thing where I don't put comedies, I don't put superhero movies, I don't put horror movies in a top 5 movie, like, or well, top movies of all time. It's like I take those categories and I separate them, and it's like I don't intersect them into this type of list. And so basically the next thing we're doing, you know, as the trailer is that our next episode is going to be our top 5 movies of all time. And
yes, sir.
I'm just giving people a heads up right now. Like, you know how much I love Halloween, you know, especially the original 1978. I'm not putting it in here because I do this thing. I don't put horror. Dude, I don't know why I do this. Like, my brain is so unorthodox. I do not put horror movies in with a regular list. So you're not gonna get no comedies. You're not gonna get any superhero movies, and you're not gonna get any horror movies like in comedy. I don't know why I do. That's just what I do. So this list is gonna be what it is. But as much as I talk, a lot of it is self-explanatory. I think some people, if people religiously listen to this podcast, they probably know three of them already.
They'll know a few of them. They'll know a few of them.
Yeah.
For me, man, listen, my list is diverse, man. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough even breaking it down to 5. You know what I'm saying? But I got a few of them that I can switch in and out. But my number one is definitely my number one. It's just gonna be my number one. So, you know, I can't fight that. But I'm telling you now, this next episode is gonna be good. You're gonna really get to, you know what I'm saying, hear the joy and the excitement in our voices when we're talking about these movies. Man, listen, it's gonna be a good one.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And I don't know, dude. I can't explain it because we've talked about it before. I'm pretty sure it was off air. I think we were just talking off air. It was like, so basically, it's gonna be like dramas, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know why I do that shit, dude. It's so weird, but it's like, I feel like when I'm doing, I don't know, like, I mean, and the crazy thing about this, like, these gonna be my top 5 movies of all time, but like, horror is like my top genre though. Like, growing up with horror movies the way that I did, and the way that I loved them, and it's so crazy. Like, my son had asked me, he was like, "Dad, you want to watch a movie?" He asked me this last night. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can I pick it?" I was like, "Go ahead." And like I told you, he usually watched Chucky movies, but this time he wanted to watch Halloween, the new one, the one that came out 2018. So I got him on the same fucking track. Like, he just picked fucking horror movies and shit. And it's like, dude, like, that's my shit. But it's like, when I do a top 5 list, like, of all, it's like I don't put them in there. Like, I give horror. It's like I got too much respect for horror. Like, it's weird. Like, I gotta give it its own lane. So I still think though it's gonna be worth listening to, because even though you might know 2 to 3, there's still some other ones on there. And then, like, I'm gonna do my whole thing of like trying to justify them and tell you, like, this is why this movie is so great. And it's gonna be movies that some people are really not gonna be like, damn, like, really? Like, that's a movie that you consider like so high? Because, like, it's not shit that's like, obviously, I'm not a guy that, you know, award worthy. Like, I don't give a shit about awards and all of that like shit. So even though one of them is you got a lot of awards, but be on the lookout, man. I think this episode is gonna be fun, and then also you're gonna see the diversity that you're gonna get between me and you, because, like, we love film, but even though we do this podcast, it's like, I mean, that's just like our Sam list just now. We didn't have any similar movies.
Right.
So, but I think that's the great thing about it, because we can also put each other on the stuff. And it's like, because I'm telling you, dude, when you find the time to watch Freedom Land and Old Boy, you're going to be like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Like, it is, especially Old Boy. And it's like I say, it's those movies, it's those underground movies that people don't really see. And what I like about doing this podcast right now is the fact that we are in a pandemic right now. So there's not a lot of new material that's coming out. So hopefully the people that are listening to us are like, well, you know what? Well, let me go back and watch some of this shit that they're talking about, since there ain't really a lot of new movies that are coming out. So hopefully we're putting people on the stuff, man.
For sure, man. And you know, it's always dope to be able to compare and contrast movies, man. And like you said, the fact that we don't have similar taste in movies makes this podcast that much better, because you have a wide scale of, you know what I'm saying, references to go through. You know what I'm saying? We got comedy and drama, and, you know, we got action, and, you know what I'm saying, we got suspense, we got thrillers, we got horror, we got, you know what I'm saying, dramedies, all the mix-ups and mashups, all of that stuff, man. And it's just dope to be able to talk about, you know what I'm saying, all those movies that we've seen. And then, surprisingly, some of the movies that we've even talked about, like, we both really agree on. So, You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always dope to hear too. Like, two people that have totally different tastes, you know what I'm saying, in film, to be able to agree on a lot of the movies that, you know what I'm saying, we talked about. You know what I'm saying? You can't really go wrong with it, man.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's necessarily like different. I mean, it's different tastes, but it's also like, but we have a lot of similar shit that we like. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's basically like the different fire flames within it. You know what I'm saying? It's like we'll like a lot of the same shit, but it's just like I might consider it a 4, you might like, oh well, that shit is a 2 to me. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like we still like it, but it's just
perfect example. I give VelociPastor a 5 out of 5. You give it a 0.
A what?
A 0.
No, what movie again? I forgot.
VelociPastor.
Let me get that shit out of here, man. Hey, yo, wait. No. Hey, we're gonna get there. We're gonna listen.
Oh,
we got it on the listen. We got it on the schedule. Now we got it on the schedule. You know, something else that we're gonna do in the future. For something else for y'all to look up to. We'll look forward to is we're gonna do our top 5 worst films of all time.
Yes.
All right. And he had me watch this shit. And it was a waste of fucking hour and a half. I've never seen nothing so fucking stupid. Like that, man. It's so bad. You know what? I ain't even gonna talk about it.
I told you, it's so bad, it's good. Did you see at the end where he turned into the raptor and they had him fighting in the raptor suit?
Yo.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, that shit was hilarious, bro. That shit was hilarious. I couldn't do nothing but laugh during that whole movie. They had the fake little dinosaur arm and shit moving around. I'm like, man, who the fuck put this shit together?
No, when he ripped the head off and it showed you how fake the fucking head was.
Yeah.
They threw the head on the ground.
I told you, bro. You weren't going to do nothing but laugh at that movie, bro.
Dude, I'm not fucking with you, man.
Oh shit, man! Man. That's hilarious. Bro. I'm gonna go back and watch that shit again. I gotta watch that shit again, bro. I need to laugh.
No, I'm not watching that shit again. That shit is crazy. Yo, man. Hey, I'm gonna keep it short, man. You know, check out the Stolen Time podcast. Me and Uncle Washington, we still rocking. Check out the 28 minutes or less. I didn't do one this week, but you know what I'm saying, the last episode was still fire. Me and Scoops did the versus battle. The Stolen Time podcast page on Facebook, Stolen Time Pod on Instagram, S.Foster8 on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, man, you can catch me at Scoops Bronson, all one word, on Twitter, man. You can follow me on Scoops Bronson _TV on Instagram, Scoops Bronson TV on YouTube. Check out 15 Minutes of Fame and Isolated Society. Isolated Society will be back this Thursday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern. You can listen live, Spreaker.com/Isolated Society, or you can listen back on the replay on Fridays on all podcast platforms. And make sure you go to the the VA Pod Watch Group on Facebook. Make sure you send those invites in so we can, or make sure you send those requests in so we can add you. We need up to 100 people so we can start doing live watch parties, you know what I'm saying? So we can start getting engaged with the fans so you guys can start talking about the movies that you like, and we can start, I don't know, man, mixing and mingling, man. We want to get some feedback from the fans. We want to interact with the fans.
Yes, sir, man. And, oh, man, I'm sitting here looking at this I'm still looking at this list. I'm still amazed with Sam, man. Like, we ain't even
that shit is crazy, bro. Over 180 joints, bro.
It's crazy.
Shit. Crazy. That's a lot of fucking work, man. That's a good thing, though. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, with acting is not, like, a paid by the hour job. Like, that shit is upfront, and you got to live on that until you get another job. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully you can do some shit to where you getting residual checks outside of, you know what I'm saying, getting the acting gig. So just imagine, like, this motherfucker is constantly working, like, so that means that he's getting checks on checks on checks. So, you know what I'm saying? That's always a good thing, man. But thank everybody for listening. We appreciate you guys very much, man. You guys keep tuning in. Make sure you guys share with a friend. If you haven't subscribed already and this is your first time listening, please hit that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to rate if you're on Apple Podcasts. We will read any and all ratings live as soon as we get them, as soon as we record. So with that being said, man, thanks again. And like they said in Hollywood, it's a wrap.
Cut.